Good morning to us all. Can
Good
you all hear
morning.
me, please?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you, sir.
yeah. Well, welcome to today's Waste4Meal Weekly webinar. And today we'll be touching on the topic um, cooperative approach to agriculture and possible impact. And our the person that will be handling today's session is Dr. Edna, and I'd like to give us a brief profile of Dr. Edna. So Dr. Edna is a seasoned and highly accomplished trainer with over 30 years of experience in capacity building, leadership development, and professional training. Throughout her illustrious career, she has profoundly impacted the lives of over 3,000 individuals through government initiatives, institutional training programs, and various professional workshops. Her tenure at the renowned Center for Management Development highlights her dedication and excellence in human capital development. While serving at CMD, she played a significant role in empowering individuals and organizations with tools, skills, and knowledge needed to excel in their respective fields. Dr. Edna's training approach is distinguished by a deep passion, kindness, and compassion, making her not just a trainer, but a mentor and motivator for who inspires others to reach their full potential. Our unwavering commitment to building people up and fostering growth has earned respect and admiration from our trainees and peers alike. Beyond her professional accomplishments, Dr. Edna is a loving wife and a proud mother of grown up children who reflect her values and dedication to family. She finds great joy in uplifting others and believes in the transformative power of education and mentorship. With her wealth of knowledge, empathic nature, and an art of service, Dr. Edna continues to leave a lasting impact on the lives of those she trains and mentors, embodying the true essence of leadership and development. And the reason why we read this profile so that you can understand that Dr. Edna is coming here today to impact us and all the things we learned here today, I would like every one of us to use that and apply them in our lives. So whatever we don't understand at the end of this session, we can always ask questions because there'll be a Q&A question session after our conversation. So at this moment, I would like to hand over the time to Dr. Edna. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us today.
Fantastic. Okay, I could not everything you said. I listened to the profile and I did say that I'm obliged and very humbled to be in your midst this morning. And like you said, this is what I do and I have a passion for this. Okay, so this morning we are going on with the webinar on cooperative approach to agriculture. We are looking at the possible impacts that cooperative agriculture will have on us, and then we'll look at the possibilities of adopting cooperative if it has so much significance, if it has so much benefits, and if it will have a lot of impact on us. The content that we'll be working with, we'll try and define the terms. When we talk of cooperative approach to agriculture and cooperative approach to farming, are we saying exactly one and the same thing? So we'll try and define the terms and then try to distinguish between agriculture and farming. And then we'll look at the cooperative society itself. Okay? And then we'll do introduction to cooperative farming. We're also going to look at the various types of cooperative societies that we have had in the past, and then how cooperative societies work. We are going to look at the features of cooperative farming, and then we look at the benefits. And of course, we'll take the larger chunk will be on the impact of cooperative farming. If these are the features, if it has so much benefits, we're not also saying that it does not have negative. So when we're talking about the impact, we're looking at both the positive and the negative impact. And then we'll be able to look at which one outweighs which one and where it will be better for us to invest. And then we'll try and see how we can attract investment through cooperative farming. Because in the negative, we discover that investment funding might be a bit of a problem. So how do we attract investment? And then we'll try to conclude this paper. Okay? Our objectives at the end of this seminar, we will be able to at least define agriculture and farming. We should take away the differences. We will be able to explain cooperative agriculture. And then we discuss the significance of cooperative farming. We should be able to apply the benefits of cooperative farming as we go. And then we mention the various types of cooperative farming, try to attract investment via cooperatives, and then we foster sustainable agricultural cooperative practices. Okay. So I did say we're starting with the definition of terms. We want to define agriculture and farming. We want to look at the basic differences. I understand that in a webinar and by the introduction, we said during our webinar, when we have questions, we'll write them down. Somehow I like engaging my participants because I want to get understanding as we are going on. So please, at any point in time, if you have a question, raise your hand up. Feel free to raise your hand up. And at a particular point in time also, as I talk to you, I will stop and ask questions. And I need answers. Yeah, that is the only way I know that we are in this business together. Of course, it's online. So if I'm not asking you questions, if I'm not interacting with you, I'm not feeling you. I don't know what you have gotten and what you have not gotten. So somewhere along the line, we will be interacting, but I will be asking questions. And so if you have any questions, please keep them and put your hands up. You will be given a chance to talk. Now we're trying to define the terms agriculture and farming. And we say agriculture is the practice of growing crops and raising animals for food and other products. We also say it is a science, it is an art, And it is the business that involves cultivating the land, raising livestock, preparing and marketing the resulting products. Okay? So it is both a science and an art. Okay? It does not just stop there. Okay? Agriculture involves farming. It involves plant science. So when we say it's a science and an art, it involves farming, it involves plant science, it involves modern production methods. So agriculture is inclusive of farming. In other words, farming is an aspect, is a micro of agriculture. So agriculture is not farming. Farming, rather, is an aspect of agriculture. Farming involves the cultivating of land and the raising of livestock. And then all the processes, the value chain of that aspect of cultivating land, the clearing of land, the raising of livestock, the production of feed, the rearing of goats and other animals, production of eggs, for instance, belong to farming. And then plant science is also an aspect of agriculture, which involves studying plants and how to grow plants. Okay? So we're talking about crop farming. Remember that the farmer will naturally go to the agriculturist maybe to go and buy some plants. And so we talk about plant science. Well, how do we plant this plant? When does the plant grow? What kind of soil does the plant grow? That is plant science. It's also an aspect of agriculture. And then we're looking at modern production methods, which involves using technology to increase crop yields and efficiency. Yeah? And it is also part of modern production methods that has involved the use of GMO, although genetically modified organisms. They're all part of modern production methods. And what we are doing also now, trying to read this BSFL, is also a modern production method that we're using, but in farming. And so agriculture, why is it important? First, agriculture sustains human life by providing food and other materials. Without agriculture, which especially narrows to farming, we will not have food. Okay? So food in terms of the basic stock food and in terms of other animals. Agriculture provides economic gain because some of this food we exchange for money, we sell. And then agriculture can also help create more sustainable food systems. Without that, there will be no sustainability of life. So agriculture is all-time very important. We cannot do without agriculture. Okay, so we look at farming. Farming, art of growing crops and raising animals for food and other materials. Remember, when we raise animals, it's not just for our food. We use them for other materials. For instance, we use hides and skins for other materials. Okay? We use them in production. Farming can also include harvesting in water and the ocean. Of course, farming is the oldest form of agriculture. So when we're talking about harvesting in water, we are looking at aquatic life. We know there are animals that live in water. So we talk about harvesting them. There are also plants that live in water. They do well in water. As a matter of fact, rice does well in what do you call it? In swampy areas. But there are animals, there are plants that actually live in water, like the water hyacinth. It lives in water. Okay. So what does farming involve? It involves walking the ground. Yes, you have to walk the ground. You have to prepare the ground. Okay. You have to plant the seeds. It involves planting the seeds. Now, these are all value chains in farming. You have to plant the seeds. You have to grow the plants. The edible plants, you have to grow them. And weed of non-edible. It involves raising animals for milk or for meat or for whatever purpose. It involves producing and harvesting crops. It involves raising livestock. And all of these, also these aspects of marketing of these products. So farming and agriculture are basically not one and the same thing. Yes, farming is an aspect of agriculture, but agriculture is far larger than farming. We're looking at the relationship between both. Again, we say farming is a part of agriculture, which is the broader term for all activities involved in growing crops and raising animals. Okay? So farming is broader, yes? And then how did farming begin? Even without looking at any write-up, how did farming begin? All religions believe that God created man, created Adam and Eve, the first man and the first woman, and put them in the garden. So even the garden precedes man. Man was created in the garden, put in the garden, with plants, with crops around him. And so, the easiest and oldest occupation is farming. Man opened his eyes and saw fruits that he used for food. Yeah? So he could pluck the fruits. But how would he be able to replenish the field, especially when the Bible says, okay, the Bible religions agree that Adam fell from glory. And God says he had to till the ground. So farming is the oldest form of agriculture. However, in modern times, we say people began farming thousands of years ago, giving up nomadic hunting. Because while they were in the forest, of course, they were seeing animals, and they needed to catch these animals to make them food. So there was hunting. But when in modern times, we began to record the origin of farming, we said it was when people gave up nomadic hunting to settle in cities that farming began. Farming likely began in the Fertile Crescent, which is now part of Iraq, which is now part of Syria, part of Turkey, Jordan, Lebanon, Israel, and Egypt. Yeah, that's where farming is said to have begun. But then all over the world now, people are farming. Even those who have no land mass, even those who have no space, they are farming. They are using modern methods to farm. Yeah? Even countries that are landlocked are farming. They are devising modern means. Now, this brings us to the cooperative society, which is our main topic for today. Possible impact of these cooperative societies to farming. Now, what's a cooperative society? An autonomous association of men and women who unite voluntarily to meet their common economic and social and cultural needs. Now, this is cooperative society at large. Autonomous association, it is a free association and owned by these people, owned by men and women who belong there. And they unite voluntarily. It is not forced. It is not enforced by anybody. It is not a government task force that you must belong. It is a voluntary association. And the reason for belonging is to meet common economic, social, and cultural goals. Meaning, there must be economic, social, and cultural goals that are common to the people that belong to a cooperative society. People don't just belong. Yeah. At the Center for Management Development, for instance, we had a cooperative society. And it belonged to us as an organization. People from external did not belong there. Because we are talking about common economic, social, and cultural needs. So it belonged to us. We shared, all of us in the organization, those who wanted to, of course, picked up the form, and they belong to that association. The cooperative society is a voluntary association of people who work together to achieve their economic and social goals. They are democratic businesses that are owned and run by their members. Now, it was not the organization that we belong to that owned the cooperative. The staff of the cooperative were not staff of CMD at the time. It was the people who decided to come together, and they decided to say, okay, this is what we want to achieve. And they appointed people within them to run what they want to achieve. The cooperative society seeks to strike a balance between pursuing profit and meeting the needs and interests of the members and their communities. Truth is that profit is not the first thing. The profit is good because they will still share profit within and amongst themselves. But the first primary goal is to meet the needs of the members of the cooperative. There are various types of cooperative societies. We can have the consumer cooperatives. Consumer cooperatives are owned and managed by the consumers of a particular product or consumers of a particular organization. They aim to provide goods and services at reasonable prices. We also have producer cooperatives. Producer cooperatives are owned and managed by producers. They help producers maintain profit and increase their production efficiency. In other words, it will be difficult and it will not be possible for a consumer to join producer cooperatives because it does not give him any benefits. It does not yield anything. He does not belong to that community. The goals and the aspirations of that community will not favor him. And then we have credit cooperatives. These cooperatives provide credit and financial services to their members at competitive rates. And so if you, at one point in time, want to take loan, you can begin to form your credit cooperatives or join one. Because they give you credit better than what you can get from the financial institutions outside. But if you have so much money, you're very buoyant, you're not going to take any credit any day, it will not help you to join a credit cooperative. We also have housing cooperatives that provide housing facilities to their members. Then we have worker cooperatives. Now, this is the one that I said we had in CMD that I joined. These are businesses owned and managed by the people who work within that organization. In our organization, we have our worker cooperatives. So we determine what we want to achieve with the cooperatives, and we continue. And then, of course, we have farmer cooperatives, businesses owned and managed by the farmers themselves. Now, this is the one that our emphasis will be on, that we will be concentrating on the farmer cooperatives, the impact, possible impact to us. So I welcome you to the introduction to cooperative farming. What is cooperative farming? It is farming that is run in cooperation with others in the purchasing and the using of machinery, using of stock and so on, and in the marketing of produce through its own institutions. Cooperative farming is farming run as a corporation with others. Of course, you can't do it alone. You run it with other people that are involved in farming. So you see the people that are involved in either purchasing, using of machinery, people can come to hire your machinery, your stocks, and everything involved in farm, up to the marketing of produce through farming institutions. Cooperative farming is a model of farming where farmers collaborate to share resources such as land, such as machinery, such as labor, and such as knowledge. So in a farming cooperative, you may not have the land, but somebody who has the land is part of it. You have labor, so you can yield labor to the land. You may have machinery. You were using your machinery before, but you don't have a farm anymore, and so you can come into that cooperative. You might not have land, you might not have machinery, you might not have labor, you have knowledge. You can be part of that cooperative. So you will be sharing your knowledge with the people. You are opening people's eyes, you're educating them, you're telling them what to do. That is a farming cooperative. It is a method of farming where a group of farmers come together to form a mutually beneficial association. What that means is that in a cooperative farming environment, all of us must not go to the farm. All of us must not be producing labor. If all of us are in labor, who owns the land? Who will bring the machinery? Who will bring the knowledge? It is a cooperative because going around the value chain, we have all that we need within this same body. Cooperative farming involves the pooling of land, the pooling of machinery, the pooling of manpower and other necessary resources together for the good of the members of the society and for the good of the community at large. Because when members of the society are enjoying the cooperative, the community is enjoying. Why? Labor is always within the community, and the community is often the first to enjoy the process from themselves. Cooperative farming refers to agricultural practices that are conducted by individuals on their holdings and resources jointly with other farmers and agencies. Now, the agencies on behalf of the farmers form a collection in order to purchase agricultural inputs such as fertilizers, such as seeds, such as farming equipment, and others. And so when we come together like this and we're able to purchase in bulk, it makes purchase cheaper. And then it also ensures that all farmers have what they need to grow their farms. It also enables farmers to form cooperative across the value chain, the farming value chain. When we talk about the value chain, the farming value chain, of course, it's the process of moving a product from the farm to the consumer. At every point in time that you need to move your product to a consumer, you have that's a point in the value chain. So as a farmer, you can join any of the cooperatives. When we have formed a large farmer cooperative, we can have the value chain includes the growing of the crops itself. You have people that till the land, they are part of the value chain. Okay? You have people that grow the crops, they are part of the value chain. And then we can have harvesters. It can be the same people, but they're all part of the value chain. We look at the processing of the crops. We look at storing. Storage is something, is a totally different ball game. If you don't have people who are conversant with it, okay, who are core professionals in storage, we might just store things. And by the time we come to harvest from the storage, we find out that everything has wasted. You say that rodents have eaten them up? Oh, they are gone. They are not good again. Okay? So we need professionals. We also need transports to move our products from the farm to the consumers. And then we need to sell. We need marketers in our value chain. We need sellers who also are good, who will return our money, who will not sell and rip us off. So it's a value chain. Cooperative farming is a good thing and is a large thing, and it requires that every farmer tries as much as possible to join cooperative farming. Cooperative value chain helps us to achieve economies of scale and improves competitiveness in the market. Farmers cooperatives provide farmers with the opportunity to come together, address the issues they have and the challenges they face. What you could not do alone, when you form a chain, when you have a cooperative, together we can do. It is now teamwork, rather than you alone working, rather than husband catching you alone in the field. It is a cooperative. We do it together and we yield bountiful results. In all, cooperative farming has gained significant popularity in recent years, with government supporting farmers to form cooperative societies, which help them to gain profits from their resources efficiently. Still on cooperative farming, I need to be sure that as we are living here today, we are all on the same ground. We have total understanding of what agriculture is, of what farming is, of what cooperative farming is, and there's the advantages of cooperative farming we are going to be looking at, and we are sure of the impact, and then we can take decisions. Cooperative farming is a system of farming first in which one, farming is done jointly. Both members retain their personal resources after. Meaning, in a cooperative farming, I might be the one who has the land, and I'm bringing my land for farming. Now, I do not have the crops. You might be the person who have the crops that we want to plant on the farm, okay? And you are bringing it. Another person might have labor. He has people to work on the farm, and he's bringing labor. Remember, land is mine. You have the grains or whatever product. Another person has the labor. All of these we are not paying. Means it's land that I have donated. The crop that will be there, I'm not buying. It's a cooperative. The labor to do the work, the farm work now, I'm not paying. It's cooperative. So that eases us. Yeah. So farming is done jointly. The profit is distributed among member farmers in the ratio of land owned and or the resources brought by them. As you are bringing in your resources, we are quantifying them. When I bring land, we try and cost the land. When you bring the grains, we try and cost the grains. When you bring your labor, we cost labor as per every day. This is what they will charge. They're going to work for 30 days. We cost that. And so when there's profit at the end of it, or when we sell, we know how we want to share our profit based on the ratio of what you brought. And wages also are shared according to the job done. Cooperative farming is not alien to us, in that our forefathers practiced this in a crude form by giving mutual aid to each other, in clearing the bushes, in plowing the ground, in planting the seeds, in weeding, in harvesting, in going to the market. Now, this reminds me of what happened growing up back in the East. My grandparents were big-time farmers. And growing up as a child, I was used to seeing people come around at certain periods. Okay? You see people, many people, at some seasons, they are carrying cutlasses, and they are coming. Now, I'm talking about like 30 young men with cutlasses coming to the compound. And when we ask, they say, oh, no, they're going to the farm. And then my grandparents will run around cooking large pots. You know, this, what do you call that? Those big pots. They are cooking. They give them breakfast. Some they will say, it's okay. Very early in the morning, they have already gone to the field. Then these ones will cook breakfast. Often is yam pepper soup, water yam. They will cook and then they carry to them in the farm. So those people would have been in the farm since like maybe around 6 a.m. and they will be there until these people get there around 10 to give them breakfast. Then they will stop, they will break and eat. After that, they go back to farming again. And these women will return to come and start preparing for them again for their return. And these people will come in around 6 p.m., 5, 6. They come back and they sit down and demolish big. Sometimes it's fufu, sometimes it's pounded yam. But then that's all the labor that they need. And they used to do that from farm to farm. Then I remember also asking my grandpa that time, and he said, and I said, how much do you pay all these people? Because at certain times they come with hoe. It's the hoe now, they want to cultivate the farm. At other times you see people, they say, why are they here? They've come to weed. So all these things about cooperative farming, we have seen them in rural in the crude form. And my grandparents were not paying for that. All their payment was the food. And then he would tell you that the man that is supplying him with the labor, that he gave them land for free because they had a lot of land. You know, there were chiefs in the village. So they said they gave them land to cultivate this year for free, something like that. Yeah? So cooperative farming is not alien to us. It's something that we have been doing. But we are now talking about refining the process and making it look better, just as we're also refining farming. Okay. Cooperative farming is something done not just in Nigeria, it is done all over the world. Notable examples of agricultural farmer cooperatives include the Dairy Farmers of America, which happens to be the largest dairy company in the US and, of course, in the world. We have Amul. Amul is the largest food product marketing organization in India. And we have Zenwa. Zenwa is the Federation of Agricultural Cooperatives that handles 70% of the sales of chemical fertilizers in Japan. In Nigeria, we have the New Generation Farmers Cooperative Society in Gombe, which also is an economic enterprise with the purpose of improving the economic status of its members, as well as to donate a fund to help members in time of needs. So cooperatives are all over the world because they discover the advantages and, of course, their positive impacts in society. So in Nigeria too, we have all started engaging in cooperatives. We have the Empower Farmers Cooperative Society Limited that is in Abuja. We have Tata Africa Service Nigeria Limited. We have Tomatoes and Orchard Producers Association of Nigeria. And so, like I told you, at every point in time, at any point in the value chain, you can form your cooperative. Now, this is tomato and orchard producers. So you can. We have BMF Farms Limited. We have the Flamon Farms. We have Soros Farm. We have Glad Tidings Investment. We have Agricultural Business Management. We have so many farms, cooperative farms in Nigeria. And it is which is of necessity, and there is need for us to belong. But how do they work? How do cooperative societies work? Number one, they have member owners. Each member has a voice in how the business is run. There is no best man in the cooperative because we are all equal stakeholders. Now, when I say we're all equal stakeholders, that is not to say that we are bringing our resources equally. If I bring 2 plots of land and another person brings 10 plots of land, that does not mean that we are bringing equally. It's in the sharing ratio of profit that you will take profit for 10 plots and I take profit for 2 plots. But that makes us equal members because we all have stakes. So each member has a voice in how the business is run. Be that as it may, we will still have elected executives to run the business. Even when we have a voice, all of us also will not be running the business. Then it becomes a problem. Yeah, we will still elect our members, and you have a voice as much as the man who has 100 plots of land has a voice. Okay? And then we look at the mutual benefits. The services or the goods provided by the cooperative benefits the member owners. We do not share business with outsiders, except of course we agree that we are going to do some kind of charity. But it is for the business of the member owners. Remember, when you donate your land, you lose your land for that period of time. If it is for 1 year, you lose it for 1 year. If you have given it to cooperative for 5 years, you lose it for 5 years. But at the end of it all, you still take back your land, it still belongs to you. The same way if you are using your machine for 5 years, after the 5 years, you take back your machine. So whatever you're bringing depends on the agreement reached. Yeah? So there's mutual benefit for us within those number of years. When you are not able to do everything, find the resources, buy fertilizer, go to farm every day, you can yield your resources to the cooperative. Then there's pooled resources. Members pool their resources to achieve their goals. It's a very beautiful idea. So cooperative farming paves the way for food security and rural development. Cooperatives can provide resources, can provide training, which is what we are doing now, and can provide support to help farmers improve their operations and increase their profitability. Let's look at some of the features of cooperative farming. What are the things we see in cooperative farming? And we say, yeah, this is farming really. This is a farmer's cooperative. Various features of this kind of farming practice are, number one, farmers originally retain the rights of their land in cooperative farming. Because you have donated your land, because you have donated your equipment, because you have donated your labor, does not mean that cooperative owns it till infinity. No, you have donated it, you have contributed for the period of time agreed. You retain your rights to your land, to whatever that you have contributed to the cooperative. The strategic partnership of various farmers to conduct this type of farming is voluntary. Remember, we say it is a voluntary association. Nobody will force you into it. We cannot say, oh, because you're a farmer, you must join. No, it is voluntary. If you see the need to join, you join. But we are saying that it is of necessity, because we are going to tell you why we are saying it is a necessity that you do. But it is still very voluntary. The decision is yours. Again, in this type of farming, the whole farm is managed by a single unit. And those are the people that you have elected. And the management is chosen by all the members involved in this farming practice. It is not possible for all of us to manage it. If we have a 30-member cooperative, for instance, it is impossible for 30 of us to begin to manage the cooperative. We will cause confusion. It is like doing teamwork. We must have a leader. And that leader is nominated, voted, elected, whichever method we choose, by us. We must choose the secretariat. We must choose people to run the affairs. And we must give them a period of time that they will run our affairs. And then we can choose another set. Again, each member involved in this kind of farming earns a share of profit based on their labor input and their land contributed for farming. So we all earn from whatever contribution we are making. Yeah? Rather than go to one plot of land, till the plot of land by yourself, hire labor, pay labor, buy fertilizer. By the time you are done, the expenses are even outweigh the profit. If you pull resources together, because we are no pulling together like in team, will always yield better effort. As it is said, two good heads will always be better than one. Okay. Now I said I will ask questions. And if you have your questions, I say you should raise your hand up. I have not seen any hand raised up. So in the interim, I ask my questions and I am expecting answers. Okay. Question 1. Can any of us differentiate between agriculture and farming? Can any of us differentiate between agriculture and farming?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, my dear. Who is talking?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, please. Who is speaking?
Peter. Somebody.
Okay.
Peter, somebody. Yeah, agriculture is a broader term that involves the science and art of cultivation and rearing of livestock, while farming is just a subsector under it.
Fantastic. That's very good. Great attempt. Thank you. Who again listen to me? Can you add to what he has said? Thank you. I'm looking at the. Yes, please.
My name is Blessing Issa. I have a little contribution.
Thank you.
Okay, agriculture generally is the process of growing crops and livestock and other raw materials for production.
Okay.
While farming involves tilling and cultivating of the land in order to raise crops and also livestock.
Thank you, Blessing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Am I getting another contribution before we go to the next question? Can I get another contribution? I'll call it in.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Please, who is speaking to me?
This is Esho Olaleko.
Leko, yes, please.
One thing that stood out for me is the fact that you said agriculture is not farming, but farming is an aspect of agriculture.
Fantastic.
Which means under farming, we have rearing of animals, we have planting, and right under agriculture, we have the studying of the plants, how they grow, and how do you plant them. We have modern practices like black insect fly farming and the likes.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much. Good. Now I'm feeling you. I know I have people at the other end. Thank you very much. Okay, fine. So we take the number 2 question. What is cooperative farming? What is cooperative farming?
Hello.
Yes, please. Who is speaking?
My name is Tam Akwawi.
Thank you, Tam.
Okay. Cooperative farming is the voluntary coming together of various farmers that contribute their land, resources, and other things to do the farming. At the end, they share profit in portions agreed in the sharing formula.
Wonderful, wonderful. We are doing well. We are doing very well.
Hello.
Very well. Yes, please. Who is speaking?
My name is Muhammad Adibullah.
Muhammad, yes, please.
Where can I contribute in?
Sure.
My feed is also agreed. Let me try to differentiate. I'll answer the 3 questions. But which one do you want me to answer?
Okay, answer the 2. Go ahead. This is your field.
So when we talk about cooperative and farming, there are 2 different entities that come together to perform a common goal. Now, cooperative farming is an act of farming whereby a farmer have an agreed statement and put the resources together to achieve a common goal to improve their productivity. One point. And second point, cooperative farming is also a farming that tries to provide a solution to a certain particular agricultural problem exists in a nation or state. Like example, food security. A cooperative society farming can come together with a common goal on how to solve a certain particular problem by putting the resources together. I provide the nation to meet the essential agricultural food. And secondly, how a cooperative society work, that one is depend on the society, on the agreements and the law that formulate within themselves that they put into action. That is how the cooperative society work. They must have a law existing. So when they formulate that, is what we call agricultural policy. And then they must have a member ownership card. They need to have a mutual understanding, and that one they need to have a common goal they are working for, and then they put resources together to achieve their common goal. But that's all this one is exist under policy.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'm happy that at least we have a professional here. Thank you very much. And we are right on course. Yes. Any other person want to add anything? But I think it is well said. Very well spoken. Yes.
Question here, ma'am.
Please go ahead.
My question here is that, according to my own, what I knew, according to the more resources you put in, the more. Are you with me?
Is this Mohammed?
Yeah, it's Mohammed, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
My question here is that, in a policy where we have made it, the more the capital a farmer has, the more the percentage the interest he got. But in this form of cooperative society, how did they share the interest?
Exactly, that is what we said. We share according to the ratio of what you have brought. Mohammed, that for a cooperative, that when you bring your resource, we'll share according to what you have brought. And so if you are bringing your land, we are quantifying the land in monetary terms. You are bringing resources, we are quantifying whatever resource you are bringing in monetary terms. You are bringing grades, we are quantifying your grade in monetary terms. So that when we come to share profit, we share it according to the ratio of what you brought. If I brought 2 plots of land, for instance, and you bring 10 plots of land, there's no way we'll be sharing exactly the same thing. We'll share it according to the ratio of what is brought, which has already been quantified before we begin to talk about sharing. Does it make sense?
Yes, exactly, excellently.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll move into the next part, the second part of this webinar. We are looking at the benefits of cooperative farming. Okay. We are looking at the benefits of cooperative farming. We say cooperative farming holds a lot of benefits, including number one, increased productivity and efficiency. By pulling resources together like the land, like equipment, labor, cooperative farms can achieve economies of scale, and they can optimize agricultural practices for higher yields and reduce costs. Because when we come together, what I ordinarily cannot achieve with my 1-2 plots of land, I can achieve higher yield. From now, economies of scale. Imagine I have just 2 plots of land and I have to use all my resources to buy everything I need to get the farm working. And then somebody now contributes 10 extra plots. So we are talking about 12 plots of land, and the yield, though even, is going to be distributed amongst us. So it increases productivity and efficiency. Again, knowledge sharing and skills development is enhanced. Cooperative members share expertise. That's what we're trying to do. We share expertise, we share knowledge, we share techniques, we share innovations that allow farmers to continuously improve their methods and learn from each other. When we come together, in unity, they say there is strength. When we come together, those of us who have not been to Oxford, who have Oxford experience from those who have been. Those of us who have not been inside the village for years, we have village experience, because people are bringing their knowledge to the fore, and they're telling us how it will be better to do things. You cannot bring your Oxford knowledge. Let's just say, oh, you've been abroad all your life, and so you think you have so much technical expertise. The Oxford knowledge that you used to farm yonder, when you bring it down to my village, it might not work. It might not work. Why will it not work? Simply because what obtains, the environment is different. The environment is not the same. The people differ. The weather, the environment differ. The animals, our animals walk about, they eat. If you talk too much, herdsmen will enter and destroy your crops. Those things, they don't have it. So knowledge sharing and skills development is key, and it's a huge benefit. There's also collective bargaining power. Cooperatives give smaller farmers greater negotiating power when buying inputs or selling their crops. We might decide that, okay, we don't have to sell first to come and share money. We might decide that at the point of harvest, we decide to share them across everybody. So you can carry your own crops and go and market wherever you want to market. It gives the smaller farmers a lot of bargaining power. And this allows them to obtain better prices and better terms compared to operating individually. The poor man in the village will naturally be ripped off. But if he belongs to a larger chain, even when you give him my crop and he's a poor man, he might just decide to ask the big man, join it to your home. When you finish selling, come and give me my money. So it gives them better bargaining power. Again, risks are mitigated. Cooperatives allow farmers to spread production and market risk across the group, providing a safety net and improve resilience against factors like weather, factors like pest or price fluctuations. Let's say, for instance, now I contribute 2 plots of land. You contribute 10 plots. We have 12 plots. We plant maize. After 1-2 weeks, we come back to our farm. The maize is grown and stuff. And then we see that one plot of land, unfortunately, the one belonging to me, ab initio, had been eaten by cattle, those who are grazing cattle. But we have the other plots. That does not mean any loss to me anymore, because the land belongs to the cooperative now. So whatever harvest we make from the remaining 11 plots, we share it equally. I'm still getting benefit for my 2 plots. Whereas if I had done it alone, if the cow eats my 1 plot or even eat the 2 plots, the loss is 100% mine. So it mitigates the risk that farmers encounter. Now, another benefit I noted is team forming, team bonding, and effective communication. And I said that cooperative allow members to bond together and communicate freely, thus building a stronger relationship. Now, when you form a cooperative, the tendency is you come together because you're doing the same thing. You are talking to even people that otherwise may not have spoken to you. They won't even talk to you because you belong to a particular cooperative and you need one another. So you must talk, you must relate well, you communicate freely, you have a stronger bonding. And this also enables higher productivity, and profits generated are either reinvested and or returned to the members. You need to determine what you need to do with the profits. Again, I said that cooperatives allow for operational visibility and democratic member participation. Operational visibility because if you are operating your 2-man farm, nobody will notice that you are there. But because you are operating as a cooperative now, people will see you, you are making more noise. Rather than 2 plots of land scattered here and there, 1 plot here, cultivate from here and there, you come together, cultivate 12, 20, 30 hectares of land. So there's so much visibility. You see people coming to beg to even buy from the farm directly. And then you have a voice in that large farm. There's also improved rural development. In more rural areas, farm cooperatives are the sole source of community agricultural goods and services. Because in more rural areas, they may not have government presence. So it is these cooperatives that help in rural development. They provide some of life's most essential products in markets that big producers don't serve. These organizations also help create local jobs and they improve food security in their neighborhood. In the community where they operate, of course, there's so much food. Of course, they employ their people. Labor is getting from that environment. Of course, if they need access to roads to be able to move their products, they might be able to tar the road. So the community benefits. Because they have their farm there, they might do dig boreholes to serve the farms, to help the farms in cases of drought. And when there's drought, of course, the community benefits. So there's improved rural development with cooperative farming. And so this now brings us to the impact of cooperative approach to farming. A major impact. Truth is that if we adopt cooperative approach to farming, cooperative approach has both positive and negative impacts. However, the positive impacts far outweigh the negatives. There's nothing in life that is 100% positive. So everything that has a pros has a cons. So everything that has a positive has a negative. So we're looking at both the positive and the negative impact of cooperative approach to farming. But let's start with the positive impact. Number one, there's improved efficiency. Cooperatives can operate more efficiently than individual farmers by pooling resources, which can lead to lower costs per unit. Yeah? Once you have pooled what you have, that is all your contribution, and then you wait. So there's improved efficiency. There's better access to resources. In cooperatives, incidentally, you might not just farm one product. Depending on the number of land that you have, on the space, depending on the space that you have, you might decide to farm 2, 3 products. You might do a poultry, livestock. You might do farm produce, for instance, maize production, for instance. So you, as a member of that cooperative, at the end of it all, you are getting some poultry to your house. You are getting some eggs. You are getting some livestock, even the fowl, the chicken, and then you're also getting crops. So it gives you better access to resources, and you're still selling, and you're making money. Whereas left with you alone, what you have can only farm one product. There's also improved market access. Cooperatives help farmers access larger markets with better competition. If you are doing your small-scale farming, you can only operate in lesser markets. You can only swim in shallow waters. But when you form a cooperative, you can attack large markets. With a cooperative, you can attack large markets. And so you that ordinarily wouldn't have been able to get into larger markets, you have the opportunity to get into larger markets. Let's reduce risk. Because cooperatives can help farmers share their risks and their benefits. So when there's something happens in the farm, it's not just you alone that is bearing it. There's also improved quality. Cooperatives can help improve the quality of products and the services, and there's increased profit as well. There's equal environmental protection. In this time and age that we are screaming about the environment, we are looking at sustainability. So forming a cooperative will help us to adopt environment-friendly practices, which ordinarily you couldn't have done alone. We have said that it has impact in rural development. It improves the standard of living of the rural areas where they operate. And so they help promote rural development. They improve the well-being of the people. They improve the well-being of their members, and indirectly those of the community where they operate. There's also improved leadership. Cooperatives can help enhance village leadership, village organization, and village coordination. Leaders who otherwise have not led in the past, now because they have been elected as leaders in the cooperative, it will enhance their skills. And it helps with economic empowerment. Cooperatives can help farmers improve their financial standing and their bargaining power. It puts a lot of money in the pockets, especially of these poor farmers. Like we said, it also has access to markets, larger markets, where ordinarily, as individuals, we couldn't have operated. So it helps us in all gain access to our resources, access to services that an individual couldn't have been able to gain. Cooperatives can help us as farmers to access services like credit. Because we're a cooperative, we can go for loans. Or within us, we can have people who have the resources that can loan us at very low interest rates. It gives us access to services like trading, like the one we're doing. It gives us access to services like insurance. Because we're cooperative, insurance companies will want to come around us. It also gives us access to various resources that as a single farmer you might not be able to access. Inputs like seeds, viable seeds, that your little resources may not buy. It gives us access to resources like fertilizers and other chemicals. It also helps collective action, meaning that cooperatives can help farmers act collectively. Things that as an individual, a lone voice cannot project. As a cooperative, you can project it. You can take your decisions together and your decisions will count. You can speak to the government and it will count. Whereas as individuals, you cannot. It also provides sustainable employment. Creates sustainable employment in the rural communities. Somehow it provides also rural revitalization. Rural infrastructure is provided as talked about access to rural water that boreholes that you want to use for the farm, you can also provide to the rural community. Sometimes also in your farms, you might need some form of electricity, generating electricity that can serve the community directly or indirectly. So cooperatives can help revitalize rural areas by promoting modernization and of course by improving governance. And then we have improved farm income. So farmers are no longer poor farmers because they have put their resources together. And again, as we say, unity there is strength. Cooperatives can help farmers increase their income by providing access to inputs, technical expertise, and the markets. It can also reduce transaction costs of purchasing inputs and selling products. It will reduce the cost because it is shared across. There's also improved well-being, that it can help the well-being of the farmers, especially those with more education, larger land holdings, and fewer children. It will improve their well-being. Even those with small holdings, it will still improve their well-being. Because now what they can do as one person, sometimes they're tired, sometimes they're not able to go to the farms. Then when they put resources together, they're sure of something coming at the end of the farming season. It also gives them some form of competitive influence. Cooperatives can inject competition into the system, which can lead to lower prices for consumers. That is equally good for the consumers. So the cooperative has a lot of impact, makes a lot of impact to farmers. However, I did say that it also has some negative impact. So let us look at one or two of these negative impacts. We look at the environment. We say cooperatives may have adverse environmental impacts. For instance, farmers may adopt fertilizers and pesticides to increase their production, and these can be harmful to the environment. Now, these are probabilities. Some of these pesticides, some of these fertilizers may be harmful to the environment. And in this time, we are talking about environmental sustainability. So that is a negative impact. However, it also has its own positives, even the pesticides, because it gives the farmers higher yield. Now, there's also these poverty gaps. Cooperatives may not include the poorest households, which are widening the rural poverty gap. Yes, if the poorest households have nothing to contribute to the chain, to the farmer cooperative, then it is difficult to include them. Then this also by widening the poverty gap in the village. Then we look at leadership and management of capacity. Cooperatives can have weaknesses in leadership and management capacity. If we have elected weak people to lead us, now that becomes our problem. All of us will go down. Rather than the produce coming up, rather than we making profits, rather than we making gain, we might go down because of the weakness in the leadership, which translates in their management. We also have operational problems. We can face, as we face operational problems such as working capital we don't have, financing we don't have, debt management we are not doing well. That means we'll have increasing costs that can affect us negatively. So the negative impacts will include environmental impacts, poverty gap, leadership and management capacity, and then the operational problems. But now we're talking about operational problems, about debt financing, debt management, and increasing costs. There are other ways that we can attract investment into our cooperative farming. Now, this is what we need to know. Ways that we can attract investment into cooperative farming. Truth is, the greater the amount of capital held by the cooperative, the greater its ability to purchase more efficient technology, to invest in staff training and education, and then make other improvements to the running of the business. And so capital for the operation and improvement of the cooperative business can come from three main sources. As a cooperative, three main sources of attracting investments in your cooperative. Number one, you can have directly from members themselves. There may be members who have money, so we take directly from them at less we take from them, we are not paying much as per what we get from the banks. Even as it may, it might also form the contribution of those members. So at the end of it all, we give them back their money and still share the outputs. So we can get directly from members themselves. We can get from retained surpluses generated by the cooperative business. As we have been in this cooperative for the past 4 years, yeah, and we have attracted some surpluses, shared some, kept some, shared some, kept some. At the end of it all, we have a pool of resources. So if we are looking for funding, we can fall back to our surpluses to generate income. And then if that does not work, we can now look at outsiders. And when as a cooperative we go to the bank for loans, the interest rate is always lower, especially from government sources. Yeah? So these are three ways we can attract funding to our cooperative. Directly from members, 1. 2, from retained surpluses that we generated over the years. And 3, from outsiders. We can go to the banks, we can go to lending individuals. Now, this brings us to question exercise 2. I'm sorry you're not saying it. But like we have agreed, I'm going to send this paper immediately we finish this training. Exercise 2. Now I ask, what are the benefits of cooperative farming? I need everybody to talk. You can give me one each. And if everybody's not talking to me, I'm going to start calling names.
Let me give you before you call my name.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I give you.
The advantage of cooperative society is also enable the cooperative to perform in international markets in exporting of their goods into another country. So when they produce in a large, yes,
Quantity.
when they produce in a large quantity, they can export it, and it also increase their source of income.
And export, thank you. And export is it, because when we grow rural and we're able to provide and we're comfortable, we export. So we're able to earn money in foreign currencies, and we know what that means to us. Thank you, Mohammed. Who again is talking? I'll start calling names.
Yeah, my name is Blessing, sir.
Okay, Blessing, thank you.
The benefits, it enhances team bonding and also sharing profits and loss together.
Fantastic, wonderful. It makes us come together as a people. Thank you very much. Who again is talking?
This is Peter. Peter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's risk mitigation. You need to share the risk all together and you need to come up with something resourceful at the end of the day.
Great. It also mitigate our risks. Wonderful. Yes. Betty, you want to say something?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say it helps to access services like loan, like if you are farming those individually, you cannot access those cooperatively. One of the cooperative may be able to bring in these services. So everybody can benefit.
All right, Betty, you're right. Thank you. Arisa, you want to speak to me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Cooperative and farming help us to put force together to get some recognize equipment that we to boost our farming. Coming together and putting forms like cooperatives, savings and the rest.
Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, thank you. Okay, now people are not talking to me. I want to start calling names. Shayo, say something to me, allow. The benefits of cooperative, please. Is it lights out? Yes, please.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Shayo, yes, I can hear you. Yes, Shayo, thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for the explicit class. Lecture. It's really educative. I prefer to listen to people talk. That's why I've been silent. I'm so sorry. I'm not that quiet. But also because I'm also an agronomist. I've been into agricultural research and even extension services I've rendered in the past. I've worked with farmer for a while and all that. So I like to learn more. One of the things agricultural cooperative, the cooperative enhances is improved learning.
Good.
Learning. Value addition.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Network in marketing, and in fact, it's an eye-opener to so many other areas of agriculture for so many other people who only do the cropping and selling alone. There are so many other things we learn when we come together as a cooperative in farming. Thank you so very much, ma'am.
Blessings. Thank you so much. I love it also when people who know want to learn more. Fantastic. That's how we grow. Thank you so much. Okay, so who is talking to me? I'm going to call another name. Should I call Bishop? Talk to us now. Sam Bishop, please talk. Bishop, are you speaking to us or is lights out? Okay, go ahead. We can hear you. Okay. Good afternoon. Yes, we can. Please try and improve your voice.
Bishop, sir. I actually believe that much. And profit sharing is encouraged.
Bishop, you're deep. I don't know if you can hear very well. I can't. You're deep.
Sorry about that.
Yes, I can.
Still deep.
Still deep. Okay, fine. So let's let you deep. Let's ask another. Yeah, who is speaking? Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. All right, one of the benefits I see is benefits of expanded markets. As the other say, 2 good eggs are better than one. And at the same time, a tree cannot establish a forest. If for instance, if I embark on a farming, which is on a low scale now or on a small scale, if I have hundreds of people coming to join me now as a cooperative farming, the kind of crops we harvest or the kind of quantity that we get in return will be much more than what an individual can
That's fantastic, Kule. Naturally, when we work together, we pull resources together. That's wonderful. That's great. Thank you, Kule. Are you there? Will you want to speak to us? Are you there, Deji? Will you want to say something to us? Hello, Ayade, can you hear me? After Ayade, can Chuka Ifende please get sent to talk? Ayade, are you ready to speak to us or Chuka, you're ready? Hello, is it lights out?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, please. Who's speaking?
This is Esho.
Okay, I'll please. Yes, thank you.
Now, so while we wait for them, I think one other impact is it improves it reduces the cost of transportation.
Fantastic. Why? Because we share the cost. So it makes life a lot easier. Sometimes even in the village as an individual, you carry a vehicle, you can't feel it. For they charge you for the day anyway. Okay? But if we're able to transport it as a group, that's fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Focados, do you want to say something? I have many names here that have not said anything to me.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Focados.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, are you there? Okay.
Sorry, I was battling with the phone hang up all of a sudden. Okay, like the question you asked, it's very good that when you are in the cooperative of farming, it gives a better idea. Normally, it's an anode of knowledge. That's the only thing I can actually pinpoint because when you feel you know about this, there are some persons in the same group that know better and that can give a better idea of how to go about it, how to sell, and how to produce. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ayade. Focados, I see you ready to go.
Yeah,
good morning,
everybody. I think I come up listening, and most of the things that saying is also what I wanted to say. But then just add as I would say, it creates a stream of knowledge for people to dive into. Because when, like I just said, no man is an island of knowledge for himself. But when you
Yes.
come in a cooperative aspect like this, you might be surprised to see that that thing you think is the best, someone have a brighter approach to it, and with that, you in that means you can also learn and the benefit of that knowledge. So, and it brings people with like minds together to share knowledge that are beneficial to the group of the society and the farming business in which you are engaged at.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. So, like I've said, we see that it has a lot of benefits, and it makes a whole lot of impact. Remember, we're looking at the cooperative approach to farming, the possible impact that it makes. We have seen that it has a lot of impact. I'm going to end this class with a story that I have titled "Attitude: The Critic, the Talker, or the Doer." You need to identify yourself. Who are you? And I'm saying that in life there are three types of people: the critic, the talker, and the doer. Most people, unfortunately, you guys say, I will say, because you are not saying this, I will send this to you as well. So you see, I've lined behind the talker, no, the critic, there are millions of people behind. Behind the talker, there are still hundreds of people. Behind the doer, there's only one man that is still contemplating, should I join or should I not join? Okay? And so in life, there are three types of people: the critic, talker, and the doer. Most people find themselves crowded around the paths of the critic and the talker. The critic is quick to judge, pointing out flaws without offering solutions. The talker loves to engage in endless discussions, sharing ideas and theories, but often falls short of taking action. These paths are comfortable because they require little risk or effort. It's just for you to open your mouth and talk, do nothing. On the other hand, only a few choose the path of the doer. The doer takes initiative. The doer faces challenges head on. The doer works hard to turn ideas into reality. This path is less crowded because it demands perseverance. It demands discipline. It demands courage. It requires stepping out of one's comfort zone and embracing uncertainty. The key message for you, as we are trying to round off, is that you move away from mere criticism and talk, and instead become someone who makes things happen. Being a doer means having initiative, taking decision and responsibility for the outcomes, learning from your mistakes, and continuously moving forward. As I conclude this paper, first let me ask whether anybody has any questions before I conclude. Any questions or we conclude?
Yeah, there's a question.
Please.
No, there's a question.
Please, go ahead.
How are conflicts usually resolved in cooperative activities, especially with respect to agricultural cooperatives?
5 questions. Because when 2 or 3 are gathered, there must be conflict. Even within an individual, within you and you alone, you have conflict. Sometimes you have conflict of opinion. You want to make a decision, you're not sure of what decision you want to make. Something as simple as which clothes do I wear? You have conflict. You pick one shirt, you don't want it. You pick the other trouser, you don't like it. That is conflict. So within an individual, there's conflict. And therefore, within a cooperative, there will be conflict. Once you have 2, 3 people. Then what we ask for is conflict of ideas. Once you're conflicting ideas, that means the people are thinking. Yeah, and then we settle for the best ideas. What do? We need to listen to the ideas. We need to first acknowledge that there is conflict. Yeah, and then we need to listen to the ideas. What is this person saying? As against what the other person is saying. And as a people, we take the best decision in the interest of the cooperative, not because I know you. Yeah, as for conflict, it will arise. But how do we resolve? We take the best idea that is in the interest of the cooperative. Does it make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I see a hand up. Is that managed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I just thought that would be a next topic on this another discussion. I got the question, the conflict resolution in the corporate society, how we do manage conflict arise. So I just
Okay, so Waste4Meal, we'll be talking conflict resolution next because there are steps to conflict resolution.
Thank you so much.
Waste4Meal, please note that. But the thing to do as you go away is to listen to the ideas and take the one that favors the cooperative, not the one that favors any individual first. Then we will take conflict resolution and take the steps, the approaches to resolving conflicts, please. Okay, any other question as we go along?
Yes, ma'am, I have a question.
Please go ahead. Is that blessing?
Yes, ma'am.
Please go ahead.
Okay, now concerning agriculture generally, we know in cooperatives, some have capacity, large capacity, and some don't have large capacity, and some don't have the capacity to, have security personnel in their farms or any gadget that will be able to protect the farm. So how can we be able to involve government in order to bridge the gap by providing a safe environment for cooperative farmers and also farmers at large?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. But there's something that I've seen a cooperative do. They do not have that strong manpower to provide for themselves. And like I said, because every cooperative operates within a community. And now the little they could do, what I look at as their corporate social responsibility, they were able to provide borehole for the community because they were using the borehole in their farms. They were able to provide their minimal electricity because they needed that warmth for their livestock. And then they provided for the community. So the community on its own provided security for them. And they were paying peanuts to maintain them. That's 1. 2, we can write to the local government where we exist to help us with security. Okay? If the local government cannot do it, they will now approach government on our behalf, the state government, on our behalf. Then we can't do the local government, still get what we are looking for. But if we operate well, do our corporate social responsibility very well, because most of these things come from within the community. So if we do our corporate social responsibility well, and we relate with the chief or whatever who is the clan head of that community very well, we might have the community itself helping us with that security. Let's have I answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, darling. Do I have any other question as we conclude?
And let me just add, in talking about security, it's a general problem everywhere. And cooperative farming as well, a way of employment generation. Like you earlier said, engage community schooling in where the farms are located. Recruit people where from time to time they can earn. So by so doing, I think they are going to be securing the funds. And by so doing, I think they will increase productivity. So let me just
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you also for that enlightenment. Thanks. Okay, so can we go ahead and conclude? Okay, in the absence of any question, let's conclude by saying that agricultural cooperatives have made an impact on food systems around the world for generations. Farmers join the organization and they combine their agricultural resources to maximize them. And doing so allows producers to leverage their collective assets for the benefit of all participants and their communities. Farmers in a co-op make decisions together and they share profits among all members rather than outside investors. Income from farmer-owned cooperatives is reinvested into the business or returned to the members, depending on our agreement. Membership of agricultural cooperatives significantly affect agricultural development through improved procurement of farming input for members, increase in quantity and quality of farm output for members, and access to storage facilities for members. Of a truth, being a member of a farmers' cooperative society holds a lot of advantages and has so much positive impact. It is highly recommended that all farmers join one. So I urge you to be doers. Don't be critics, don't be the talkers do the needful. And there's a recommendation. Remember, we said it is a voluntary association. Thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. God bless you.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma.
Thank you
God
so
bless
much.
you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Edna. We appreciate this session.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you so much, ma.
So, Dr. Edna, thank you so much for this wonderful session. We really enjoyed it, and we really appreciate your gesture. So, I'd like to ask, you said something that I should remind us about conflict resolution. Is this something you'd like to quickly touch on, or?
Yes, what we said was that what they requested is that another session they will have a training on
Okay,
conflict
okay.
for
In
cooperative.
cooperatives, right?
Yes,
Okay,
please. So
okay,
I said, okay, that will be
okay.
our next training session.
Yes, we'll do that. We'll ensure we add it to the calendar. Thank you very
Okay.
much, Dr. Edna. I don't know if there's anyone that has any question or anything to say. Can we please ask questions? We should raise our hands up, and will be selected. If there are no questions, I think we will come to the end of today's session. We'd love to thank Dr. Edna for this wonderful session, and for every one of you that contributed. We'll also be meeting next week to talk about other things in the agricultural sector. And very soon again, we'll have another session with Dr. Edna on conflict resolution in cooperative. Thank you very much for joining today, and may we all have a nice weekend. Bye-bye to everyone.
Great weekend all. Bye.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Bye.